Welcome back to the channel. So, episode 4 of The Veil is called Declassified and it has just dropped. We have 2 more to go. So, I'm really excited because this episode was kind of interesting. I want to just pause here and just say, hey, if you haven't watched episode 4, Declassified, then I would recommend that you skip this video because I will be talking about spoilers. Consider this your warning. All right, getting into this episode, a lot of things happened. I don't know if you noticed the title is called Declassified for good reason, and I'll get into that in a second. All the flashbacks, I don't know if you guys realize all the flashbacks that we're getting of this guy. I was thinking it was her dad, Imogen's dad. We got flashbacks in episode 1, I believe episode 2, and the entire time I'm thinking, because she's talking about her dad, and she, especially in the last episode, she kind of recounts what happens to her dad and then asks Max Peterson for some classified documents about what really happened there with her dad. And so the entire time I'm thinking, yeah, the guy that, she's having these flashbacks of is her dad, but it's not. It's not her dad. Is her dad's friends, her guardian, her mentor, and even more than all of those things put together. His name is Michael. He was the one who made Imogen who she is today. They don't see each other much anymore. I don't know what that means exactly. I don't know if he died or if he's just not in her life anymore. But the apartment that she's staying in this episode is Michael's apartment. So find that interesting. Clearly, it's a deep pain for Imogen, and also there's a baby in the mix. Don't know if it's alive or dead. I'm gonna assume that it died. But again, you can see that there's a lot of pain in her about this man. I think this show, along with another show called Under the Bridge, which I am currently talking about, are just flying under the radar right now. They're both really, really good. Under the Bridge tells a story of a teenage girl, Rena Verk. She goes to a party and she doesn't come home, based on a true story. So it's true crime, but it also hits a lot of interesting threads in the story, like racism and classism. It's a really, really great watch. Riley Keough is in it. She was in Daisy Jones and the Six, and she was also in Mad Max, Fury Road. Lily Gladstone is also in this show, and she was in Killers of the Flower Moon and Fancy Dance, which is coming out soon. And this show, I feel like this one as well is flying a bit under the radar, but it's really, really, really solid. So in this episode, the French learn Imogen is working with the Americans. So that cat is out of the bag. And Malik, of course, feeling maybe a little betrayed in the process. We also see in this episode Imogen say something that's really interesting. And it's, I played so many people in my life, I don't know where I belong anymore. We've been seeing this kind of theme of identity and wanting to be known and to be understood. Even every human has a desire to be known, to be seen, to be understood, including spies. And so I love that this particular thread is being woven into the story, because it's very true. It's very true of us as humans. It's very true of Imogen. And honestly, I would say Adila as well. And Adila tells a story of her going into a bougie hotel strapped with explosives, and she clearly didn't pull the trigger. And this is where Imogen tries to again appeal to her humanity by saying, well, I see you clearly didn't pull the trigger. This is what the story is about, is this spy befriending this French ISIS leader and trying to, now she's trying to help her protect her daughter, but is trying to get information about this attack and who's involved and why. And so we see this tension between these two women played so well. So then we see Imogen connect with Max Pearson, and he tells her the events that occurred at the gravesite and that she has 24 hours to get some solid information out of Adila. Now, the thing that he's referring to is in the beginning of the episode, we see yet again Adila using these certain meeting points that she has with Imogen and using them as a, kind of like a drop point to communicate with her contact. So the guy that we saw in the last episode, he goes back to the grave site. He drops a flower and he sees a note. He picks it up. There's a woman next to him who happens to be an agent working with Max Peterson. Max had a hunch that Adila is using these, meeting spots as a way to communicate, and he was correct. And so his agent tries to tail this guy and ends up getting killed. And so Imogen has 24 hours to come up with something solid that Max could use to try and avert this attack. Well, we see with this meeting with Max that Imogen is asking for the information that she's been asking for since the last episode, which is information about her father's death and who was involved. And she asks for that information from Max. Max gives her a hard drive. She goes back to her apartment, to the apartment that they're staying in. She ends up making copies of these documents, and she spends, many hours reading through these classified documents that have been essentially declassified. She's getting some information about what's true, what's not. And so that's my recap for this episode. Again, feel like Adila is just trying to protect her daughter. There was a situation where they were at a bar at some club. Imogen goes to get a drink. Adila goes outside and meets up with her contact that picked up communication from her in the previous episode. And we see that there might be something going on with these two people other than working together to formulate this attack. And so it's quite interesting. I don't know where this is leading to. My guess is he has been in a relationship with Adila. Maybe Adila's daughter is his. I have no idea. But it's another kind of interesting turn of events with these two characters. And so we see that and we get answers to questions that we have, and then which only causes more questions. And so we have, I believe, 2 more episodes left to go. And I don't know where this is going to go. The next episode is a penultimate episode for the season, and we'll see what happens. Imogen is a spy, and Adila is I feel like she's kind of between a rock and a hard place. I feel like she wants to do the right thing, but she doesn't want to risk her daughter. And so it's just be interesting how this all kind of plays out. This is a really good series. I am obviously intrigued and invested with these characters. I love the more we go along in the story, the more information we get about Imogen, and she's clearly needing some answers. She needs to settle some. She's probably trapped in a trauma, and she needs answers. And so obviously she's trying to figure out what happened to her dad. But I'm wondering if she's wanting to confirm if Michael was involved in any way. That's it for now. Let me know what you think. Would love to hear your thoughts. Be sure to stream The Veil on Hulu. All right, talk to you soon. Bye.